Hello, UCAR. Peter Christensen here, coming to you from the CEO's desk. All right, so it's officially the month of May. Lovely weather. It's actually kind of rainy and windy today, but we do love May. So new theme, new topic. Yeah, I thought we'd do something a little different, and we'll take some viewer requests this month. So if you have a question, I've had a few in the past. We've asked for them in the past, so I have a couple to start with. But yeah, throw some. If you have a question, throw it in the comments, and we'll see if we can get to it. Won't get to all of them, of course, but I do love to hear what's on your mind, and if it's a question that works well, then we'll take it on. So I actually have one to start with. Shout out to Jean Chouy for throwing a question my way. He asked about square footage and really like what's the role of an agent with square footage and stating square footage. This has been, it's dicey. It's a dicey one, right? Square footage is a little bit subjective, and I've heard of many deals where there's been a discrepancy or a disagreement about square footage, and it's become a problem in the deal. It always boggles my mind when they've seen the house and they put an offer in, but then they get back that the square footage is less than they thought, and they decide it's too small. They already saw it. I don't know. I can't figure that one out totally. But it happens. So square footage, here's the deal. It's even in the administrative rules. Our forms support this. Basically, you want to cite to the source. And I would advise, and we don't give legal advice, so it's not legal advice, but I would never want to give that from me. I don't want to be the one giving the square footage. So you may have discrepancies. You will. Like county records may show something different than appraisals, and the old appraisal may show something different than the new appraisal. That's because it's not an exact science for some reason, where the slope of the ceiling is in the room, how they count this or that. It's somewhat subjective, so it's not always spot on. So you decide, or your seller decides, which source they want to go with. You state the source. You put it on there, you say county records. That way you're saying, I'm not vouching for this. I'm putting what we know, and that's what we know, that the county says it's this X amount of square feet. An old appraisal shows it's that amount of square feet. Just cite to the source, and don't be the source. And the seller probably shouldn't be the source either. That's the recommended by state rule, and the forms committee and the UAR and everyone else I know of. That's the recommended method, is to cite to the source, stick with that. They can double check it, verify it as a buyer all they want, but you're simply saying this is the reported square footage from X source, and that's what we're putting. What do you do if you get multiple sources with differing square footage? You decide if you want to go with one of them. If you want to cite to both of them, you certainly could. You could put both in there and say, here's one, here's another. Again, that's what we know. Here are the two sources. You can figure out how to handle that. But always use a third-party source. That way you're not responsible, you're not vouching for it. And don't forget to put the source on there. Don't just put it and say, well, I got it from county records. No, put that you got it from county records on the listing. That way they know. That's what the county says. We don't know if we trust that. We're going to have that double check. So hopefully that helps. Throw out some more questions. Love to answer some that are on your mind. And thanks for joining us today.